Good evening everyone and welcome to the Invictus Racing League, the Realistic Performance League. I am one of two commentators for this evening, Malk, and with me, as always, is Tim. How you doing, mate? You alright?
What's going on, Malk? Ready to see some racing around Silverstone. Looking like a bit of a cloudy day on the Silverstone circuit today. And, well, from what I understand about the UK, that's just about normal.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is where the home of the British Grand Prix, and we're looking forward to it, to be fair. We really are looking forward to it. IRL, how you doing? He says, hello lads, how you guys doing? We're doing very well. We do apologise for the delay, because we've had, well, Tim had a bit of issues with the YouTube side of things from his side, so I'll be doing the stream from my side. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that there'll be no disconnections during the stream.
Throw me under the bus.
So, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that all the time, to be fair. I will promise you that.
You just did.
Not all of it, mate. Not all of it. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. ARL's forecast is overcast all through sprint. Hello, Spud. How you doing? It says, hi, hope I get a belter of a race. Yeah, I hope you do get a belter of a race this evening. So, it looks like the cloud is there, and I've been told from ARL it is going to be overcast. So, from your perspective, Tim, and watching it back from last week, do you think there'll be a few shocks? I notice there's been a few standings have been changes as well.
Well, honestly, the big story from last week is Joe Hamster picking up his first win of the season, and it really didn't look as though that it was going to be the case for Joe Hamster, because earlier on in that race, Cameron Searle, if you remember, Malk, actually dominated, but there was an issue coming out of the pits where he spun, and that actually allowed Joe Hamster to get by him through the cycle of pit stops, and he was able to hang on to the lead and quite easily from that point on capture his first victory of the season. So I think the big question on everyone's mind is going into Silverstone, is Joe Hamster going to be able to defend and have a good day here, or is it maybe a bit of a fluke? Because we know that Joe Hamster is a driver that always seems to put himself in contention for points-paying finishes, but at least in the past, it seems as though he struggled at times in the Performance League to really find his way to the top three.
He has, to be fair, and the last few races that he has done, he has been absolutely fantastic, and there's no doubt about it, no doubt about it. But can he keep that run going? It's a very different story, very, very, very different story from Joe Hamster, but hopefully we won't have any issues. Let's go and start. I've been told, unless there's been any changes, there is no safety car, there's no formation lap as we speak, so we're going to go straight into 9 laps of the sprint, and then the usual feature race, which will be coming up now. Matty Rudd, how you doing? It's good to see you back in the comms. Hashtag Ruddo. So let's see if Ruddo can get back to winning ways after missing out last week. Here we go. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights, and we are... Oh, jump start by Ginger Tiger. Jump start by Ginger Tiger. So he will go through the pits, and there's a spinner.
Oh, and we got a McLaren around in the back.
There's a spinner at the back, and that is JP. JP has dropped himself down. JPH has also dropped himself down. Sav's also dropped down. So that is not good news at the minute, and it looks like there's a bit of carnage through the curve itself. Spud has joined again, but we've got a yellow flag, so I think it's a virtual safety car, Tim. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it is looking like a virtual safety car, Malk. And just taking a look at Ginger Tiger here, you mentioned that he had that jump start. Well, that is a drive-through penalty, unfortunately, and this virtual safety car is not going to do him any favors. When you have a jump start like that, really the best thing you can do from that point on is just keep going. Try to get the biggest gap that you can between you and the rest of the field, so that when you take that drive-through penalty, you've minimized your losses. This virtual safety car, it is not allowing Ginger Tiger to do that. And you see that the gap is only 2.3, 2.4 seconds right now. He actually seems to be making a little bit of an advantage over it. Even still, we're going to see him drop very, very quickly once he goes through the pits. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is one of the longest pit lanes.
You are right, Tim. You are right. It's about over 30 seconds, the pit stop in total, so they have to manage it well. And Russman, oh no, drive-through penalty for speed under the virtual safety car. So Spud has dropped himself down to 4th. ARL moves up to third. ARL moves up to third. Nigel Gash is getting close to Rustman, but he's under a lot of pressure from Ryan. So Rustman will have to do the drive-through. And unbelievable start. And Mikey's got the fastest lap of the race, of the sprint itself. So Rustman and SFR Martin are in the pits now, Tim.
Yeah, and now just watching Mikey as he is in second place, and this will be the leader once Ginger Tiger makes that drive-through penalty. Like you said, Rustman, he's already went down through the pit, so that penalty is gone, but we see him in the 17th position now. Looks like Martin, he's getting a fresh set of soft tires, trying to see what they will do. Now, the thing with that right now in the sprint race is those soft tires are not really going to benefit him. He's not going to be able to make a lot of positions up, if any at all. However, this does give him an opportunity to understand and figure out just what those soft tires will be able to do in race trim, and if it's a viable option when he gets to the race. However, Martin, unfortunately, is not going to have the best of sprint races. Remember, the top 8 score points, and he is far from that.
Absolutely, it's going to be a mammoth task for him to get himself into the top 8, and we've got a bit of a battle going between Kerr and Bruce. And Kerr's has got himself up to 6 now. Kerr's trying to hold on against Bruce, who's been outstanding, to be fair. He's been absolutely outstanding. The last few races, he's been really consistent. And that is what you need, the consistency in the leagues itself. And they're doing very well at the moment. Let's have a look at AMDJ, who had a great race last week at the Austrian Grand Prix. And Bruce is going to have ahead of Kerr. Bruce is going to have ahead of Kerr. And just at the nick of time on the last corner, Tim.
Yeah, and good job there from Bruce Lee Harding. Of course, his team is leading the constructor standings at the moment going into this race. Of course, him and Rudo24, they are teammates this season. And, you know, you were talking about MDJ having a good race last week, and, you know, he certainly did. Of course, 2 weeks ago, he was able to win the race, and he is the points leader going into the race today. So MDJ, he's got a lot on the line here, running in the 11th position, trying to find his way at least into a points-paying position when it comes to the sprint race and set himself up nice and pretty for the feature.
Absolutely, and Ruddo's trying to get himself close to MDJ as well, so this is going to be quite a tasty moment as we speak. Let's have a look at Dowell now, try and put the pressure on Kerr, who's having a torrid time at the minute, losing out to Bruce in 9th place. And, oh! MDJ! 2 in the bed. We got Dan.
Side by side, MDJ and Daryl Whiffen down the hanger straight, and it's going to be MDJ trying to go on the inside. Can't do anything with it. Daryl there in the 10th position in the Alfa Romeo, holding on strong, and there's contact! They both spin around. There goes MDJ in the grass. Daryl through the grass. My goodness, Malk, what happened there?
I just saw the aftermath itself, but as you said, it might have been some contact on after the Stowe corner, so they'll be absolutely livid at this stage. Obviously, you want to get some points in the bag, but don't risk it for a biscuit if you want to make that move as quickly as possible. The biggest battles that we've got in a minute is Kerr's getting closer to Spud. Yellow flag still. I think that's Rustman. I think that's Rustman who lost it at the last corner into turn 1. Here we go now. Can Kerr now put the pressure on? He's only a 10th behind. So need so much unbelievable stuff. I think Sir Spud's back in the car. I think Sir Spud's got himself back into the car. Lap 4 of 9 of the Invictus Racing League, the Realistic Performance League, on the Crossplay edition. If you like what you see so far, guys, hit that like button. We are aiming for at least 10 likes tonight, guys. We're aiming for at least 10 likes. Will be a massive help to myself, Malk, and to Tim on the commentators box, as well as the Invictus Racing League on the YouTube channel. And here we go. We got Kerr. Kerr's under the pressure of Ruddo. We could have a 3 to bed. Come on! Could we have a 3 to bed moment now, Tim?
Well, actually, when you're watching that, I'm watching Keza. We got Ka here, though, trying to go underneath of the Ferrari if Sir Spud can't do anything with it. So Sir Spud, great defending there. Ka, now he has to worry about Rudo just behind him. Rudo, he was the points leader as of a couple weeks ago, missed Austria last week, so he comes into this race third in the driver's standings and trying desperately to pick up at least 1 point here in the sprint races. We got a Haas car going wide. That was Joe Hamster.
Joe's gone 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, so that is not good news. But look at Ruddo. Ruddo's trying to put the pressure on Kerr for 8th. Nigelgas is getting close to ARL in 2nd. Mikey doing very well at the minute, holding on in 1st. So here we go, Can Ruddo now, using that straight line speed. Yellow flags on sector 1, I think passing up to Aintree. Here we go, Ruddo passing Brooklands now. Oh, come on. And then coming to Lovefield now, and what a move by Ruddo.
Yeah, and Ka went very wide there on the curb, had to check up to make sure that he didn't get any wheel spin, so now you see how much he's dropping back behind Rudo, 0.4 of a second, but now he's able to find a little bit of speed. Rudo, though, has his sights set on Sir Spud there in the 7th position. Sir Spud hanging on strong after a little bit of a battle a couple of laps ago, but he's trying to chase down Bruce Lee Harding there in the McLaren, and Bruce Lee Harding, of course, 3.6 seconds behind Keza, so a long way for him to get up to Keza.
Absolutely, and see what's going to happen from Keza's point of view, because he's under a lot. Well, he's putting the pressure on Ryan, who's just in 4th at the minute. The unbelievable driver in 4th place at the minute. So look at this, Tim. The top 5, they're all close to each other. They are all close to each other. Matty Rudd says. So there's Ruddo over Schumacher. So let's see if he can try from everyone's perspective. But here we go. Can Ryan now put the pressure on as much as possible? If you notice any issues with the audio or anything like that, guys, please say on the stream, because this was the last minute thing.
And we got Keza trying to make a move on Ryan, looking underneath the Alpha Tower. It's Alpine versus AT, and there goes Keza underneath as he gets. Does he clear him? Yes, he does. So Ryan down to P5. Keza in the 4th position. Now he's got his sights set on Nitro Gash. They're in 3rd. And look at this mount. What is this? 4 or 5 cars you could just throw a blanket on top of.
Absolutely. And it's really heated up. Really heated up. Ruddo's getting close to Spud in 7th place. You've got... actually, Ruddo does make the move onto Spud. So this is where ARL is using 310s now. They've got 4 laps to go, Tim. They've got 4 laps to go. Can anyone try and stop Mikey? It looks like ARL. 2 in the bed. Down the hanger straight. And come up to Stoke corner. Brilliant move, Tim.
That was a very clean pass from ARL. Very impressive there. Mikey, it was just like he was sitting still, so he has to go back on the offensive now, try to get around ARL, but look at ARL pulling a lot of time off of that corner. Half a second, 0.6 of a second there for a minute. ARL looking like he's got a strong car today.
Yeah, he has. He's been waiting for this moment now, Tim. He's been waiting for this moment. And it's just unbelievable stuff now. But ARL, can he try and hold on against the flying Red Bull? Oh, he's just gone a little bit wide, which has now brought Nigel Cash into play. But the Red Bull has definitely got some wings now. The Red Bull has definitely got some wings. And they're going down the straight. No, not yet. Mikey's getting close though, Tim.
Yeah, I'm riding on board with Mikey here as he's trying to get by ARL. We're going to have a DRS zone coming up on the hangar straight here in just a little bit. But first, we got to go through Maggots and Beckett's. Mikey trying to get a little bit of slipstream here before they get there, though. Will he be able to get around this Aston Martin? It's ARL and Mikey's show at the moment. And, you know, Malk, when it comes to the top 3 predictions, well, take a look at these 2 right here, because it looks like both of them have got very strong cars. And if they keep running like this, then they are going to be very strong in the future, as now something has actually happened to Sap.
Yeah, I was just about to say, but we'll come back to it in a minute. Mikey's got the chance to make the move onto ARL, going around the outside. He won't do it just yet. He will not do it just yet. He's got a chance now to come up to Club Corner. Can he make the move? He won't make the move just yet. He won't. Oh my God, what is going on? There's 5 cars. There's still the 5-car battle. This is really lovely, jubbly moments. Come on. Can we see some unbelievable moments? Darrell's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings now. We're on the penultimate lap now, Tim. We're on the penultimate lap. And just as I was saying, Sab, something must have happened at Brooklands just before Lovefield. So then, I don't know whether there was any contact, but he is out of the race, though, Tim.
And Mikey having a fierce battle with ARL still. He tried to do a crossover on the Aston Martin. It didn't work. He's going to try to make a move on the outside. Will he be able to hang on to it? No, he does not. So Mikey in P2 still. ARL still in the lead, but Mikey, ARL left the door open. Mikey looking on the inside. ARL a big wiggle off of the corner. That's going to give Mikey an opportunity as ARL loses a lot of momentum. A tenth of a second, 2/10 of a second separating these two cars, but Mikey's not going to have much of an opportunity until they get to the hangar straight. He's going to have to stick as close to ARL as he can, try to get a good exit out of Maggots and Beckett's in order to set himself up for that long straightaway. And like you said, Matt, penultimate lap, he's going to have only a few more opportunities to get by ARL. We know it's just a sprint race, but they're still awarded points, and this also sets the starting order for the features. Look at Nitro Gas trying to make a move on the inside.
Nitro Gas is trying to make the move, but they can't do anything about it. Ruddo moves up to 6th now. Ruddo moves up to 6th place. But we're watching the top 5. We're watching the top 5 having a great battle.
And a big wiggle from Mikey. Big wiggle in. Another wiggle
Go
off
on!
the corner. And now Nitro Gash is on the outside. Does he get the move? Yes, he does. Now it's Mikey just dropping back. It's Keza trying to get around Mikey. And Keza cannot make the move. It's side by side with the AlphaTauri of Ryan and Keza in the Alpine. Ryan gets the job done on the inside. Keza tries a crossover. Can't do it. ARL, meanwhile, still leads this sprint race. And he is 9/10 of a second ahead of Nitro Gash, who just made an absolutely gutsy move on the outside of Mikey.
That wasn't gutsy, Tim. That was pure genius. Absolutely brilliant stuff. JP and Kerr. JP and Kerr having a bit of a scrappy challenge through Lovefield. Kerr's making the move on the inside line now. And I'll tell you what, oh my days, that would have been classic. That would have been an unbelievable move. But that's going to be talked about for ages now. Bruce is getting close to Ruddo. But I think he's going to try and wait now. They're going through Maggots and Beckett's now. I'm going to have to go back to the top 3, Tim.
And Nitro Gash coming out of Maggots and Beckett's, and he's down the hangar straight. He's got the DRS on ARL. This will be his last opportunity to get around him, but does not look like he's going to be close enough to make a move. All the same, he's going to give it everything that he's got. But starting P2 in the feature, well, that's not too bad anyway. But ARL, a former champion of this series, will win the sprint race, pick up a nice haul of points. Nitro Gash going to be coming in P2 as they come out off the final corner, and wow, that was actually very close.
Absolutely. I thought ARL, I don't know what happened. I don't know if that was a bit of a tease from him, but he luckily held on clearly in first. And Nitro Gash well up to him, finished off in second. And I think if he didn't get hauled up during the last few laps, I think he would have caught up with ARL. But fair play to him. Mikey is in third. But still, Nitro Gash had a fantastic move. Unbelievable. We'll have to talk about it for ages. Ryan in 4th. Keza in 5th. Ruddo in 6th. So good moves. Just to recap for the guys who are making the best position changes. Ruddo from 17 to 6. Good move from, well, best was 1, to be fair. So well done to him. And he really is on fire for trying to get himself back up to the top of the table itself. But obviously we had some talking points with MDJ. And I think it was someone else who had the issue with the contact. And I think it was Darryl, or someone else, I can't remember. But yeah, that was the issues that we had. And then there was some battles galore. But yeah, driver of the day at the moment for the sprint is Ruddo. But what a way to do that, to kick us off at the British Grand Prix for an absolute sprint. Speedy Gonzalez moments as well, Tim. Absolutely amazing stuff. So here are your sprint classification for the British Grand Prix for the Invictus Racing League, the Realistic Performance League on the Crossplay edition. You got ARL. Good to see you back in the top position in first. Nitro Gash is in second. Mikey in third. Ryan's in 4th. Keza in 5th. Ruddo 6th. Bruce 7th. JPH 8th. Kern 9th. JP in 10th. MDJ in 11th. Spud 12th. Darryl 13th. Joe 14th. Jin Tiger 15th. Rustman 16th. Martin 17th. And Saab is the only one who had the DNF. So absolutely insane stuff. But what a start for the sprint, though, Tim.
Yeah, that was a very impressive sprint race, Malkin. I really hope that the feature is even just as half as good as that finish was. But the feature, though, looking like a little bit of rain. So, I don't know, maybe IRL lied to us.
Oh, there is rain. There is rain. Unbelievable stuff. There is rain,
So the
Tim.
rain... Yeah, the rain falling down here in Silverstone. Not sure how long that rain is expected to last, but that is definitely going to play a factor into these drivers' pit strategies here, and undoubtedly so. I'd say that they are going to be starting on the intermediate tire. Whether we're going to see a switch to the dries later on has yet to be seen, but one thing's for certain is that until this rain lets up, we're not going to see any DRS, so that is going to make passing opportunities few and far between.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think there's going to be absolute carnage as well, and I hope these guys have got a good setup at the minute, because otherwise they're going to be really struggling for hell for leather moments. But from the way it looks at the minute, it looks like it will be more for intermediate conditions, considering what everything's going for at the minute. I can't see that as heavy rain, like properly heavy rain conditions. Do you agree with that, Tim, or do you think they will start on the intermediates, which I'm picking anyway?
Oh, they'll definitely be starting on the intermediates. That's not heavy rain. I would be very surprised if anyone really took the gamble to go for the full wets. Honestly, though, the biggest question that's coming to my mind, Malk, is not whether it's intermediates or wets, but whether it's dry or intermediates. Now, I know that sounds silly, that sounds counterintuitive, but if you remember, there was a time, I believe it was Austria, where you and I commentated on a race that was raining, but it was run entirely in the dry tires. For some reason, the dry tires were still the faster tire. Drivers tried the intermediates, it didn't work. And I'm wondering if that's going to be a similar situation that we're seeing here. I don't think so, but it could be.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how, if it does go into that same conditions as well, Tim. That'll be quite interesting as well. But would you like to see that again, though? From the wet to the dry situation at British Grand Prix. Bear in mind though, the British, we always have, well, majority of the time, I say majority of the time, 50% to more so with the heavy rain conditions. So it's going to be different if it is going to be taken off itself. But from what I've been told, I thought it was just going to be for the overcast for the sprint and following on, but the way it looks as if it's not going that way forward. But here we go. I think we're about to start. Aero says, happy with that. Rain predicted for the whole race. Ellie says, evening lads, how are we? Sorry I'm a bit... No worries, Ellie. Hope you're okay well. Ryan says, Inters, but get heavy at the end. Heavy at the end. So, Inter to heavy rain, Tim. And we're going to look forward to it. Here we go. We're about to start. No formation lap. We're going straight into the actual race. Good luck to everyone. Here we go. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights. And we are... Go, go, go. Who's at the great start? Who's at the great start in this British Grand Prix? Looks like... Oh, my days. Mikey's dropped himself down. Ruddo's dropped himself down as well. Oh, God, Nitro!
Oh, we got a lot of carnage in the back balcony, a lot of cars off track, slipping and sliding and wiggling around. Mikey gets into P2, Bruce Lee Harding P3, Ka in P4, and it is 3 wide, 4 wide. Cars off track in the back, and Rudo a 5-second time penalty after collision with Keza. My goodness, is that a safety car to top it all off, or a VSC?
VSC, but Saab's out. Saab's out at Abbey Corner. Saab's out at Abbey Corner. I'm not sure what actually happened. I don't know if he had massive contact, but from that perspective, Tim, that is not good news for Saab this evening. So he will have to go through. Hopefully, he'll be back next week for round 6 for round 6, shall we say?
So much like the sprint race, we have now got a VSC, but Malk, look at this. ARL with a 3.9 second lead over Mikey in just these opening laps because of the carnage that we saw. Now, I say carnage, Sab's the only car that's out, but there was a lot of cars slipping, sliding off the track like we said, so there's going to be a lot of cars that might be hitting pit road this time around, but Mikey trying to make up that time deficit, and he did a very good job of doing so. 1.1 seconds on ARL now, so ARL lost everything that he gained. So I was going to say that it was very important for him to have that gap because we don't have DRS, so he's just that much further ahead. But now that Mikey is right there, practically within striking distance, even without DRS, Mikey will be able to take advantage of Slipstream.
Absolutely, and a few drivers have gone into the pits. It looks like Keza and Suspod have both gone into the pits now, Tim. They've both gone into the pits. MDJ nearly went to make the move onto Kerr. Ruddo will be closing on JPH for 7th place, and hopefully we'll see some more unbelievable moments, though. But, again, shocks galore, and I couldn't catch, as I said, I couldn't catch the start of what happened because the camera angles that we had was just atrocious. But hopefully we'll get that more often in the stewards' inquiries afterwards. But you don't want to do that in the intermediates because you have to be careful. You need to give a bit of a gap. I know normally at turn 1 it's full pelch when it's dry, but with the wet conditions, you have to ease off a bit because otherwise you're just going to cause so much carnage, and hopefully that's not going to happen again when we do get another safety car or anything like that at all. But at the moment, Tim, JBH is getting close to Joe Hamster in 6.
And you know, Malk, you were talking about the wet, you having to actually let off a lot sooner, and you are right because it is very treacherous in these wet conditions. But another thing though, Malk, is how much adjustment are we going to see on that front wing and in the differential and maybe even brake bias between the sprint race, which was run in the dry, and the feature race that is now running in the wet and expected to have even heavier rain later on?
Normally they would higher up the wings itself, but and higher up the back end itself. Oh my God, JP had a bit of a wiggle moment, like a wiggle moment through turn up to the last corner. But yeah, it's just atrocious stuff on the wet conditions, and I don't know when it will get heavy. They said they will be heavy at the end, but when it will be, we do not know. But normally with the setups, Tim, they have a bit of a higher setup with the wings and higher up on the suspension itself, Tim.
And look at this battle for the lead, Malk. ARL and Mikey 0.4 of a second behind ARL, and you know, this is, I think, going to be the story for the entire race, is these drivers just chasing one another. But let's not forget about Bruce Lee Harding back there in third, just slowly but surely creeping in on these front two cars and having 1.5 seconds behind him, and Cub back in fourth. He's got a little bit of breathing room and a little bit of area to just focus on the cars ahead.
Absolutely, and Nojgash and Martin having a bit of a scrappy challenge moments between 12th and 13th. Mike is struggling to catch up to ARL, but Bruce is going to be absolutely loving this. He's going down the straight. Can't make the move just yet. He cannot make that move. MDJ, he's got himself ahead of Kerr in 4th place, but Kerr's got the chance. Oh, James has dropped himself down to 7th. JPH moves us up to 6th place. But watching it from Bruce's point of view, if Bruce can keep this consistency going, he will be absolutely loving it. Yellow flags on Sector 3. Not sure who that is. I think that is Martin. I think Martin's trying to get himself back into the pits. JPH is retired. Tim.
And yes, JPH out of this session, and now another yellow flag. Is that a safety car? Yes,
he's crashed.
That is a full course safety car.
He's crashed, Tim, after turn 1. After the last corner. So I don't know whether he got caught by anyone, but that is not good news for him. Not good news for him at all. So, yeah, a bad day in the office for Sab, Martin and JPH, who they're having a torrid time at the British Grand Prix. And now, this may bring a bit of a sigh of relief from ARL, because Well, it won't be a sigh of relief for Joe Hamster because he has lost his front wing, Tim.
Yeah, and that's last week's winner you're talking about there, Malk. Joe Hamster not having a good British Grand Prix so far. And this safety car, it really does change things. But one thing I'm noticing, though, Malk, is the rain was supposed to be heavy, but it actually looks like it's letting up at the moment.
You are right, Tim. It is dying down a little bit on parts of the track, but obviously it's still intermediate conditions, just enough for intermediate conditions anyway. But from that perspective, I'm quite interested to find out when the heavy rain is going to kick in. Oh, Ruddo's got two lots of drive-throughs. What's happened to Ruddo? That's weird. We do apologise for any technical difficulties, guys, but from what I saw, Tim, unless I'm mistaken, I'm sure Ruddo's had two lots of warnings with the drive-through penalties.
Well, I'm seeing him as having a drive-through penalty, and he is taking that now. So after... Well, actually, though, Malk, he's trying to take the drive-through penalty, but correct me if I'm wrong, you cannot serve the drive-through penalty during the safety car.
That's correct. You can't serve the drive-through with while the safety car is in action. But I think it's more for him to change his tyres now and get everything freshed up and ready to go. Oh my days. ARL is having a bit of a mare moment just ahead. So Ruddo, Joe Hamster and Ryan have all gone on into the pits, which will be for their fresh... well, it should be for their fresh intermediate conditions. Bruce goes ahead of MDJ. I know you can't get ahead of each other, but I think MDJ just goes ahead by just a slight mistake. But this is a great chance for Spud, who was about 40 seconds behind the next person, which is Joe Hamster in 14th. So he's got a massive chance for him to catch up with the grid. And I think, unless I'm mistaken, the safety car could come in on this lap, Tim.
Well, we'll wait and see. It looks like we got some stragglers in the back, but there should be enough time for the safety car to make its way around. It's ARL, Mikey, Bruce Lee, Harding, your top three, with MDJ and Cuh, your top five, JP, Russman, Ginger Tiger, Nitro Gash, and Daryl, your top 10. And, of course, Rudo, with that drive-through penalty, expect to see him diving into the pits very quickly. But he'll have to wait until we're officially under green flag conditions to serve that penalty. Keza, of course, in 12th, Ryan 13th, Joe Hamster 14th, and Sir Spud in the 15th position with JPH, Martin, and Sab, our DNFs, after just 5 laps of what has been a very wet British Grand Prix.
It's been a very wet, very, very wet British Grand Prix. But let's hope that we'll see some more action galore for these guys as well. So just waiting to see how ARL can try and put the pressure on now to pull away from Mikey. He's got to think of something at the minute. Safety car will come in on the next lap, guys. The safety car will come in on the next lap. But if you like what you see so far, please, please, please make sure you like and subscribe to the Invictus Racing League on the YouTube channel for all the live race itself. We're aiming for at least 10 likes tonight, guys. We're aiming for at least 10 likes tonight. Will be a massive help, and I say again, will be a massive help to myself, Malk, and to Tim on the commentary box, as well as the Invictus Racing League on the YouTube channel. So hit that like button, guys. And I tell you what, from ARL's perspective, a former champion, Tim, a former champion, trying to hold on in an Aston Martin car around the Silverstone against a flying Red Bull who can't get past at the minute. I don't know whether it's Mikey trying to save as much of that time and then attack when he can, or ARL's just playing his game absolutely fantastic by defending all of his life.
Well, Malk, one could say that he's in danger, but like you said, ARL, he is a former champion, and we saw how quick he was in that sprint race, and Mikey just was not quite able to make a move on ARL. He was able to get close, but not really able to size him up for a move. And, of course, a mistake off of the final corner coming to the white flag in the sprint race saw Mikey lose a position to Nitro Gash. So I really am going to be placing my bets here, if we were betting, that is, on ARL. At least on this start. I don't think that he's really as much in danger to that Red Bull as you would think. Now, yes, he's in an Aston Martin. The Red Bull is a much stronger car, but ARL, he's got a few tricks up his sleeve, I'm sure.
It definitely is. The safety car should come in on this lap, Tim. The safety car should be coming in. Yes, it is. ARL, if I was him now, I would bunch up the cars to get enough so that they do not have a good start. Mikey needs to be alert. If he doesn't, he's going to be under a lot of pressure. At the moment, biggest mover is Russman from 16th all the way up to 7th place. And MDJ from 11th to 4th at the moment. So, good moves for those guys. I think ARL will go at Club Corner, Tim. I think he'll go at Club Corner, which is just past the pit entry. This is where you have to be at your very, very best. Going to watch it from him now. He's waiting for Mikey to make a mistake and then go.
You got to be very careful, though, Mal, when you're going on a corner like that. We have seen drivers here at Silverstone lose it in this section on a safety car restart just because they were trying to catch the field sleeping, but it looks like both Mikey hits the curb, he slides, he hangs on to it. ARL is in the lead. Bruce Lee Harding now in P2.
Oh my god, this is mad. Kerr's go wide. That was a bit of a dangerous return to the track. He's trying to get himself back in as quickly as possible, but not good news for Mikey. I'm surprised at that, to be fair. Mikey's dropped himself all the way down to 4th, chasing Bruce Lee in 3rd place. Nitrogas drops himself down to 10th. Joe Hamster drops down to 14th. Keza moves up back up to the 12th place now. They're going down the straight up to Brooklands now. And this is where anything could happen, Tim. Anything could happen in this stage. And Kerr's under a lot of pressure to try and put the pressure on Russman. I keep saying Ruddo to Russman. They've got the same moments. But that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say at the moment. But they come up to corpses. I call it corpses. Oh my god! Russman just trying to go around the outside. Well, trying to go around the inside of Copses. He's going for it. Oh, what a move! Just the nick of time. Oh, I've done the commentator's curse. I'm so sorry, Russman. And now it's more JP. Goes up back up to 5th, and he could lose out to Kerr. He could lose himself down to Kerr. Well, I'll tell you what. He's told me off because he won't catch up. And they're going down to Stowe Corner, Tim. They're going down to Stowe. Ryan's dropped down to 11th place, Tim.
Meanwhile, ARL is still in command of this race. MDJ in 2nd place. That's your points leader. He had an abysmal race in the sprint, as in, well, he wrecked and ended up in the grass. But so far, it's looking good. P2 for him at the moment, chasing down ARL, your leader, and he's 0.2 of a second back. This is Williams versus Aston Martin, the battle that, well, we don't get in real life, but that we really, really want to see.
Oh, absolutely, and this is where everything goes, anything goes in Invictus Racing League, and this is where everything could happen, and this is brilliant stuff, absolutely fantastic racing. Whatever happens, Bruce, I think whatever happens, I think MDJ will, at the moment, if it stays like this, MDJ will still be ahead of Bruce in the drivers, I believe, unless I've calculated it wrong, but I believe MDJ will hold on in 1st. But that's if it stays like this. Ginger Tiger. Oh, Nitro. I think Nitro and Ginger Tiger have a bit of a scrap and now drops himself down to 14th place, Tim.
Yeah, and it looks like Ruda might have been involved there as well. He is back there in the 15th position. Of course, that might just be because he's running alone due to having a time penalty.
Sorry, Tim. Oh, my God. Ryan goes through Cops' corner. Oh, my God. We could have a 3 to bed. 3. Come on. Oh, we had the 3 to bed. Just briefly, temptation moments, Tim. Temptation moments that we see. We had the 2 Alpines and an AlphaTauri. AAA cars itself. 2 Alpines. Side by side. Russman goes up ahead in 5th. And looks like Ginger Tiger will move us up to 9th ahead of Keza. And they're still going. But Keza, oh, brilliant battle. Brilliant. Oh, this is absolutely brilliant battles. You just can't keep your eyes off it, Tim.
Yeah, moving around the outside was Keza, and a little bit of a wiggle out of the penultimate corner. Hangs on to it, though. Now look at Joe Hamster trying to get by Ginger Tiger into that 10th place position. So it's Haas versus Alpine now, and Joe Hamster just trying to get the best day possible here in the British Grand Prix. He's not really had the best of days. You mentioned he had some front wing damage earlier on in this race, and that's after, of course, winning last week. So it's really a difficult pill to swallow, isn't it, Malk, when you've done so well one week and then it's just a terrible race the next.
Absolutely, and you just don't know when the luck will run out, and unfortunately for Joe Hamster in this race, the luck has definitely run out. Hopefully that will change sooner rather than later. MDJ, no, don't do that, Copses! He's done it, but oh, what a move! What a move there from MDJ around just before the Corpse's corner, or call it Corpse's corner, because everyone could go wide and lose out the back end of the cars completely. And ARL will be a sitting duck, and I think he'll lose out to MDJ, who's really is on top 5 at the minute, Tim.
And Malk, I'm noticing that ARL, he gained a lot through Maggots and Beckett's on MDJ, but then MDJ left him in the dust when it came to the straightaway. So I'm thinking that ARL, he's got a little bit more downforce on those wings than this Williams car does, and that's the difference. Now, normally in wet conditions, you would want more downforce, wouldn't you, Malk? However, look at the conditions at the moment. It's still raining, it's still wet conditions, no one's questioning that, but it's not exactly heavy rain, so just maybe a little less downforce is just the right call, and that's what we're seeing in that Williams.
Absolutely. Nojkas got the fastest up of the race at the moment, 141.403. So at the moment, Bruce is trying to hold on against Mikey. But look at ARL. I don't know if ARL's got any damage. I don't know if you could see any more from that, Tim. But he really is struggling to catch up to MDJ, who's in the Williams car. Remember, MDJ is in the Williams car. ARL in the Aston Martin. And they still can't do anything about it. Right, the Red Bull of Mikey now. And Bruce having a bit of a dog-eat-dog challenge moments in 3rd and 4th.
Well, Malk, one thing that also I think is possible here is ARL could have used up his tires a little bit. Now, obviously these intermediate tires, they can go quite a while as is designed. But ARL, he was in a battle with Mikey there for a little bit, and he was in a battle with MDJ trying to keep him behind. So it's very likely that he's just got a little too much temperature in those tires, so he's been dropping back.
Absolutely, possibly, but he can't afford to lose out too much to MDJ because he will run away with it. And I think that's what Bruce and Mikey are going for it now. They're trying to make the move onto ARL as quickly as possible. Otherwise, MDJ will be laughing now to hold on in first. Yellow flag set us 2 and 3. That is, I believe, Darrell. Darrell is spun out through, and he's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings through Maggots and Beckett's, Tim.
Now we got Bruce Lee Harding trying to make a move on ARL. Goes to the inside of the Aston Martin. Cannot get alongside him. So they are nose to tail through turn 1 and through turn 2. A small wiggle from Bruce Lee Harding. Sees him lose just a little bit of ground to ARL, who is trying to chase down MDJ. And ARL goes very wide in a big slide there. Hangs on to it. But this could be the chance that Bruce Lee Harding was waiting for. But he has to check up for him when ARL gets to the apex. And, of course, without DRS down this straightaway, it is going to be a very painful ride for Bruce Lee Harding, who is so close, but not yet in striking distance.
Not yet. Oh my days, Mikey. Not yet striking distance just yet, because Mikey, he really has got that Red Bull on those wings and try and push as much as possible to put the pedal to the metal. And then come to Woodcut now, the capacity to Woodcut corner. And then come, this is the old start finishing line straight. And then come up to Copses corner. And they kept the car intact. That is good stuff from these guys, and they put the pressure on. And it feels, yellow flag set to 1. That is Darrell again. Darrell's having a torrid time at the minute, Tim, for in the British Grand Prix. Well, let's have a look at this battle for Bruce to get himself close to ARL. Can he make the move? Oh, will he have to check on someone else at the minute? No, he can't make the move, Tim.
Yeah, and Bruce up there in third. Mikey was close to him, entering Maggots and Beckett's, but Mikey unfortunately had a small moment, had a little bit of a slide, had to save it, so he dropped back about a second behind, but now he's quickly regaining that time that he lost to Bruce Lee Harding. The problem I'm finding with Mikey, though, is he seems quick. He seems to be able to catch these drivers. He struggles a little bit with making these passes.
Absolutely, and just hope to see if anything could happen from the Red Bull driver. I'm just going to have a quick look at Ryan in 7th place to try and close the gap onto JP in that McLaren. Can he try and do something? A rabbit out of the hat. Yellow flag set to 2. That is Darrell again. Darrell's lost it to Maggots. Come up to Beckett's corner. So he's having a torrid time at the minute, but hopefully he'll bounce back as quickly as possible. He'll need a safety car, really. He'll need another safety car to get himself back in as quickly as possible. Here we go. Garen Ryan now put the pressure on JP. He was getting close at Lovefield, and now coming to Woodcut. And they're going down the straight, coming to Copses now. Come on, we've got a 3-car battle for 6th place, and this is really heated up now. Joe Amstel got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, Tim.
Yeah, still watching this battle with Mikey and Bruce Lee Harding. Mikey 0.6 of a second behind Bruce Lee Harding, who is a second behind ARL, who respectively is 2.8 seconds behind our race leader and points leader, MDJ, in that Williams. So we were talking a little bit about ARL earlier and just wondering what's going on with him. And I really can't figure it out either, Malk. I mean, granted, I will admit there is some slight communication issues with him and his car, but overall he seems to be okay as far as, you know, being here in the race and being in his car. But you're right, he is really dropping back, and his times are dropping off. 3.1 seconds now in just half, you know, in just half a lap. He's lost half a second.
Yeah, so that's fine. Let's see how it goes from his perspective. But ARL needs to put the pressure on, and somehow needs to do something in the straight. Well, I don't know if it's a side pod glitch or something like that, or something with the car, but he's not getting close to MDJ at all. Ryan is still keeping that pressure on moments. Mikey getting close to Bruce in 3rd and 4th, so we might have to go back to... No, actually, we're going to keep the battle between Ryan, JP, and now Keza's joining the party now, Tim.
Yeah, and still watching this battle between Mikey and Bruce Lee Harding, though, as he's 0.3 of a second behind Bruce Lee Harding. Are we going to see a move? No, we're not, but Mikey really driving it deep into these corners. Now we'll switch back to Keza and Ryan back here. So P7 is Ryan, JP in 6th, and Keza, of course, in P8 there in the Alpine. So on board with the Alpine of Keza as they go through Maggots and Beckett's. And you've got Ryan very, very close to the back of JP, who goes just a little bit wide. That could compromise his exit. That could give Ryan the opportunity that he needs to get around this McLaren, but will he be able to make the move? He's looking for it. He's looking for it as he goes underneath him. No, we cannot get alongside him, so Ryan has to follow him through this set of corners, but will he get another opportunity? It looks like Ryan is quick, but he has got to maximize his exits in order to get a run on this McLaren. Will he be able to do it going into turn 1? That could be his best opportunity. We've seen drivers struggle off of this final corner, but neither of those two struggled that time around. Ryan, a good exit, but JP an even better exit as they go through turn 1 now and approaching turn 2. Oh, and Ryan actually clips the curb, has to dance with the car to save it, so he loses even more time to JP.
He loses more time to JP, but Keza's absolutely loving it at the minute because it's getting close. He might make the move. I bet these guys wish they had DRS galore. They wish they had DRS to make these moves done as soon as possible, and Keza trying to use that slipstream, but cannot make that move just yet. Let's go back to Mikey in 4th. He was 2/10, but now it's about 5 seconds. He's struggling at Love Field. Come to Woodcote Corner, and they're trying to do everything possible. Give it to JPH, and he said, well, that was a shame. Tell us what happened from your perspective, mate, because like I said, we couldn't catch what actually happened from your perspective, so we'd like to see what your thoughts of what happened in the race that you got the retirement from. Ryan's getting close to JP in 6th place, Tim.
Yeah, I'm riding on board with Keza just behind those two. And wow, look at that. Once again, JP very slow out of Maggots and Beckett's, and then, you know, of course, through Chapel Corner, down the hanger straight. Ryan trying to use the slipstream, but cannot get alongside JPH. Not even as close as he was the last couple of times. And now Keza just really following suit and trying to follow into the tracks of that AlphaTauri. So we're not seeing a lot of aggressive moves. Of course, lap 15 of 26, we're just now approaching the 10 lap to go mark. So that might be when you start to see these drivers think about making aggressive moves. But one thing that we still have to note, Malk, is ARL told us we are going to be getting heavy rain toward the end. Right now, I'm seeing that it seems to be raining a little bit heavier in the first sector, but the second and third sectors of this racetrack are actually very good. So one sector's calling for wet tires, maybe a little bit later on, and then the rest of the track is certainly at the moment calling for intermediate. So what do you think of that?
I was going to ask you, actually, when do you think the wets are going to be kicking in? But for
and we had contact, Ryan, underneath of JP, so now that gives Keza an opportunity to go around the outside of the AlphaTauri.
Oh, brilliant
Can he
move.
get the job done? Oh, and some contact as Keza goes off track, but they're able to keep it clean. We stay green, and Keza in P7 now.
That's a good move. I think that was a good move from Keza. And unbelievable stuff. And now Ryan will be absolutely livid to lose out on those positions. And now he's getting... Oh my God, look at him. He's right close to the back of Keza in 7th. Darrow's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. We'll watch the penalties in a moment, guys. Penalties in a moment. So here we go. Here we go. Can Ryan now put the pressure... Oh! Caught the curb and... dancing with the devil on the wet conditions itself, Tim. This is madness. Madness.
Coming to lap 16 now. 16 of 26, so 11 laps to go. Will be 10 laps to go next time by, and you're watching the battle between JP and Keza. That's for 6th and 7th place, respectively, at the moment, and Keza trying everything that he can to get around JP. And will he be able to do it this time? We've seen JP really struggle in the low-speed sectors of this track, just like right there, as you saw Keza get right up on the gearbox of that McLaren. Could this be Keza's opportunity, though? I think he was a little bit too close to the McLaren off of that corner, so he wasn't able to get the throttle down as soon as he wanted. That really compromised his exit off of that set of corners, and now you see JP just pulling away.
JP's trying to pull away as much as possible. While this is going on, there's about a 4-car battle for 2nd place still. It really is heated up massively. And Keza's got himself getting close. Oh my God. No.
Oh, and a time penalty for Keza and Ryan.
So Keza and Ryan have had the time penalties. Let's go show you the penalties, guys. At the moment, Mikey. Oh, who's that? That was Ryan. Ryan has dropped off a bit. I think someone's just gone off at 3rd sector. I think that is Darrell again. So Darrell is going to get lapped in a minute if he doesn't watch out as quickly as possible. They're going down the hanger straight. And they're trying to put down the pressure moments now. Pressure moments. And this is where fantastic stuff is going to happen to him.
And Keza holding strong in P7 as Ryan now goes into the pits. So it's looking like it's just barely raining in the 3rd sector, but watch when they come into the 1st sector, Malk, is you'll see the rain just start to pick up, and even now down the front straightaway it seems to be just a little bit heavier than it was when they came out of Stoke Corner, but now through turn 1 and 2 it is just a gully washer through those couple of corners. My goodness, as that is just barely visible from Keza's perspective.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the full wets are going to kick in the next few laps or so, Tim. That's my prediction. I reckon lap 19, 20 will be the way forward. Mikey's getting close to Bruce in 3rd place. Keza, 6 seconds with penalties. Jarmster 3 seconds. Mikey 3 seconds. So Spud, Kerr and Ryan have all had 3-second time penalties, and Darrell's got 9 seconds worth of penalties. If you just joined, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. Hope everyone's having a fantastic evening on the 16th of March 2023. We're at the British Grand Prix for round 5 of the Invictus Racing League, the Realistic Performance League. Live and exclusive for you guys in the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you've not done it before. Hit that like and subscribe. Especially like this stream because it'll be a massive help to myself. Oh, sorry, Tim.
Malky, I thought we were going to have a moment, but it was a false alarm. Mikey out of Chapel Corner going through the grass, just briefly hung on to it though, and you know, interestingly enough, I don't think he really lost that much speed, so very lucky for Mikey.
Very lucky indeed, but look at this, we've got, oh my god, Keza and JP. Keza just touched the back of JP. Now, I don't know whether it was a desync issue, but he was right close to him. He was right close to JP, and JP has lost it at just through the club corner itself. So he's dropped himself down to 8th, but luckily he's bounced back and tried to close the gap onto Ginger Tiger. But going back into the top 5, Tim, Jarvis is getting closer to Spud in 10th as well.
Yeah, you know, Joe Hamster still trying to rebound. Of course, you said Ginger Tiger just a moment ago, another driver who's been trying to rebound, but I think that's just the story of the day for everybody here. Is I don't think that there is one single driver out there on track that at some point, either in the sprint race or in the feature, you know, who has not had a problem of some sort. But look at this now, Malk. Joe Hamster is taking the big gamble and going to the wet tires. Does this pay off for him? He could either be a hero or he could be a zero really quick here.
I'm hoping he'll be the ace of the pack, Tim. Remember that. I'm hoping he'll be the ace of the pack and not be the joker at this stage. But watch his time, Tim. Watch his time in the next few laps. If he's getting close to Ryan, that is the perfect way to make the move. And he's blinked. He's blinked first to make that move perfect. But as you said, is it the right move though? At the moment, I don't think that's the right move for now. But again, it's like 10.2 is the gap between himself and Ryan. So, interesting stuff, Tim.
Now, I am willing to wager, though, Malk, that he will gain a decent amount of time through the first 3 or 4 corners or so. But, like you said, it does seem as though he is dropping significantly based off of Ryan and Kuh now having a side-by-side battle as Ryan gets around the Alfa Romeo. But it does seem as though Joe Hamster is dropping fairly significantly as he is now 11 seconds behind Kuh. But it's not over yet for Joe Hamster if it starts to rain very heavily, very quickly. That being said, it's still looking like Joe Hamster is going to struggle to make the top 10.
He may struggle to get into the top 10, but I'm looking at the intervals, so the leader times at the minute. If Joe Hamster gains 30 seconds, he will get himself back into the top 10. He will probably get into 9th, depending on how everyone else pits as well. But again, it all depends if these guys can capitalise. At the moment, Ryan is getting a bit faster than Spud, but then Joe Hamster is also struggling at the minute and might lose out quite a few seconds. I don't know whether he pitted a little bit too early than normal, but anything could happen, Tim. Anything could happen.
Well, Malk, here's what I'm thinking though: is it's supposed to rain heavily at the end. But we're already at the end of the race, and it is not raining heavily. So, even if the heavy rain is coming, we're starting to approach the territory to where you have to think, is it more beneficial to pit for full wets, or could you risk it and stay out and gain more time that way?
Oh, that's a good question, actually, Tim. Yes, we did hear that the full wets or the heavy rain will be kicking in. So it just all depends. It just all depends if he can try and capitalise on it. And now I can tell what you're saying now, Tim. The first 4 corners are really bad through those sectors, and then passing the curve and the farm, and passing Abbey as well, and then come up to Aintree now. And this is where anything can happen. JP has lost communication with his car, so hopefully he'll get himself back in as quickly as possible. But this has been an extraordinary moment. Kerr's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I think Joe will catch up in first sector, but second and third at the minute, I just can't see that happening at the minute, Tim.
Yeah. And, you know, like we're saying, we're still waiting on this rain. And ARL said himself that he expects it to rain heavy, but of course, it's starting to look like maybe that's not going to be the case. But is it picking up just a little bit in the third sector?
I'm watching it from Russman's point of view because he is getting close to Bruce to Mikey in fourth. I do apologise. I do agree, he's getting a little bit heavier down into Stoke Corner and building up to Club Corner as well, passing Vale and then into Club. So yeah, I think it's that barrier where it's going to be changing to full wets itself, but
the rest of the track is still in intermediate conditions, and we saw this situation in the I think it was the Russian Grand Prix a few years ago in Formula One, was it not, with Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton, where it really was a toss-up as to what was the best call as far as going on what set of tires, and that might be what we're seeing in the final stages of this British Grand Prix. And if you're ARL there, 6 seconds behind MDJ, if MDJ pits for full wets, I'm staying out if I'm ARL, unless, of course, the track is abysmal. But if we're kind of, you know, teeter-tottering around what decision's the best, if I'm ARL, I'm staying out because he's not going to gain 6 seconds on the same compound tires as MDJ, and he will definitely lose time to MDJ once he comes out on full wet tires. But you only have to lead 1 lap, and we have 5 laps to go now. So ARL would just have to stay in the lead for a handful of laps.
Absolutely. 20 laps already on those intermediates. They can go, well, you would think they would go up to the halfway mark, the same stints as the medium tyres. But fair play to everyone. They've gambled on those intermediates for the 20 laps at least. And that is insane. Absolutely insane. When it's going to kick in for those tyres, I do not know. But someone's going to have to blink from the top 5. And Mikey's losing the back end a little bit. So, and MDJ doesn't feel like he's losing a lot of pace anyway. So he's absolutely enjoying this at the minute, Tim.
Well, Malk, you say that the top 5, someone's going to have to blink, but Joe Hamster has went back on the intermediate tires. So he no longer has decided that wets is the right choice. So it's looking to me like it's going to be intermediates all the way, in that even if we do have a downpour coming in these final stages, it's not going to help anyone to go on the full wet tires.
No, I think they were analysing how Joe Hamster was trying to catch up with the guys, and I think the way it looked was like he already lost out to Ruddo in 13th and 14th and 13th respectively, but still, you can't afford to lose out. But it was worth a gamble by Joe because he lost the front wing during the race itself, and he had to do something to try and get himself back into this race. And it was a bit of a gamble, and he knew he's lost out another 30 seconds wasted because of that situation. Oh, Keza gone a little bit wide at Cops' corner. I think he's just about holding on the white line itself. I think just about. But here we go. Can Keza now put the pressure on Russman in 5th? And this is where there's an explosive ending, Tim, because ARL 7 seconds behind MDJ. I just can't see MDJ make a silly mistake now, Tim.
No, certainly not. I mean, that would be catastrophic at this point for MDJ. He comes into this race leading this point standings, and quite obviously, if the race finishes as it's running now, he will hold on to that driver's lead standing. So MDJ, there is a lot riding on the line here. Of course, we're far from the end of the season, so you know, one bad race here or there is not necessarily going to kill his chances of a championship, but a championship is won over the course of the season, of course, as you well know. So you need to have these good races. You need to maximize your points total every single week, even if you can't win. But when you can, you definitely should. And that's what we're seeing from MDJ right now, 7.2 seconds ahead. And he can just sort of calm down a little bit, not saying that he's taking chances now, but he can just calm down, get into a rhythm, run his line. Doesn't have to worry about being fast, just consistent enough for these closing laps.
Absolutely, and Russman finally makes a move on Mikey. Good move there. Bruce is getting close. To ARL in second place. Was 6/10 now, the gap. Keza. Let's have a look at Keza now. I don't know if Mikey's struggling, Tim. I think Mikey's struggling with those tyre wear.
And that might be the case, Matt. Of course, you said that taking these tires 20-plus laps is impressive in its own right, and that's what we've got most of the field doing right now. So if Mikey's struggling, then Russman might be struggling. Bruce Lee, ARL, MDJ, all these drivers might be struggling. And there you see Joe Hamster running the fastest lap of the race. Sadly, it's not going to do him any good unless he gets into that top 10. He'll still be able to score points, but he won't get that point for the fastest lap unless he's in the top 10. So, but that does go to show you the difference. That was a 1:41 that Joe Hamster ran that last time. And for comparison, if I can pull up the lap times here on my screen, which I'm hoping to be able to do, but it doesn't seem to I don't seem to be able to do that at the moment, unfortunately. But Matt, maybe you can tell me just what the last lap time was of the leader.
Last lap time of the leader. Sorry, just bear with me a sec. Fastest lap at the moment, 141.756 was the fastest lap from MDJ, but Joram's the fastest lap overall, 141.041 overall. Keza goes back into the pits, and that's quite interesting actually, from everyone's perspective, because Rise made the move on to Spud in 8th. Rise made the move on to Spud in 8th. Where's JP? JP's getting close to Keza. Keza's doing everything he can to close the gap onto Kerr for 10th. And this is where everything is exploded. But also, Bruce and Russman are getting close to ARL. So we're going to watch that in a minute. But here's the move on Keza. Keza's made the move on the inside of Brooklands. And I'll tell you what, that's a perfect move. All contact between himself and Kerr, Tim.
Yeah, and Keza now a man on a mission, just trying to make up whatever time that he can while he still can. Of course, 3 laps to go, rather. Lap 24 of 26 here in the British Grand Prix, and Keza 4.2 seconds behind Sir Spud. That's a big ask for him to be able to run down Sir Spud. I mean, maybe, considering he's on fresh tires, but that's, I'd say about 9th position is the best that you're going to get from Keza without anyone making catastrophic mistakes. But we'll turn now to the lead with ARL and MDJ, or lack of a battle thereof, because MDJ is first by 7.6 seconds over ARL, who has got his mirrors full of Bruce Lee Harding and Russman back there.
Yeah, but remember, Russman's got that penalty, and we'll show the penalties now for you guys, just in case you're wondering. So at the moment, let's go put this into the leader check. So at the moment, 11 seconds. So at the moment, Russman will still hold on in 4th. He will still hold on in 4th. Jitty Tiger will finish off in 5th place. Unless Jitty Tiger pulls a rabbit out of the hat and try and get within a second between the gap between himself and, try to close the gap onto Mikey. So here we go now. This is where everything is all planned up now. We're on the penultimate lap. AMDJ's going through Michael to Beckett's now. And Bruce is 4/10. Well, he was 4/10. 5/10 now, the gap between himself and ARL. Fair play to ARL though, Tim. You got to agree. Fair play to ARL. Keza moves up to 9th ahead of Spud in 10th, Tim.
Yeah, and Bruce Lee Harding still in P3, but getting a little bit closer to ARL as we're going to work our way back to the lead for this final lap. MDJ, of course, about to take that white flag, but the battle, at least for the moment, is between ARL and Bruce Lee Harding for that second spot. Of course, ARL, a former champion in this series, and Bruce Lee Harding trying to find his way onto the podium in the British Grand Prix, looking good so far in P3, but he's got Russman breathing down his neck, and he's got ARL just ahead of him. Lap 26, final lap. MDJ 8.6 seconds ahead of this battle, but this is the battle for second as Bruce Lee Harding's trying to go around the outside of ARL, turns into the inside, can't get the job done. almost some contact, but nothing of the sort, as ARL once again a big slide through that set of corners, but hangs on to it. And Bruce Lee Harding, can he get the momentum out of this corner that he needs to get a run on ARL? I think he's got it. I think he timed it perfectly. ARL throws the block. Bruce Lee Harding goes back to the outside. It's side by side to the corner. Almost, but not quite, because ARL just a little bit faster when it mattered.
Well, it mattered, but he's going to go round the outside of left field. Oh, come on, Bruce. Come on. You want to make the move? You got to do it now. Especially at this stage. And I'll tell you what, he's told me off. He's made the move at Woodcut. Oh, what a move. What a move there from Bruce. And what a strategic play. ARL is going to be, will guarantee to hold on in third. He'll guarantee to hold on in third as long as he doesn't get a penalty. He will be absolutely loving this at the minute. But I have to go back to the leader, Tim, because MDJ, out of nowhere, he did an absolute belter of a race. And he's going to pass Stowe into Club Corner now. And what a drive by him. He will be extending his Drivers' Championship lead in the championship itself. So well done to him. He is a winner at the British Grand Prix. Well done to him. Fantastic stuff from MDJ. Bruce will be also keeping contention with MDJ, but will lose out a few points to MDJ. So Bruce, well done to him, finished off in second. ARL will finish off in third. Russman in fourth. Mikey will drop down to sixth. Ginger Tiger will finish in fifth. No, Nojikash moves up to sixth. Mikey drops down to seventh. Keza in eighth. If it stays like this, well, it depends on the penalties itself. Keza will cross over the line now in eighth. And weirdly, he got disconnected. Oh, who's that? That was the back of the grid. I think that was Kerr. I think Kerr just got frustrated. So Mikey will finish off in 7th. Ryan in 8th. JP in 9th. Keza 10th. Kerr 11th. So Spud will finish off in 12th. You got Ruddo, who was having a fantastic battle at the start of the season. Now, ever since he missed out one race, he's got a lot to catch up on, to be fair. And Joe Abster's passing Stowe and come up to Vale. And now come up to Cook Corner, where Daryl's already had to cross over the line. ARL says, tyres fell off the cliff on final lap. I could tell. I think we both could tell. Anyway, so well done to the guys. Well, especially well done to the top three. Fantastic stuff as well. So we're just going to get the standings. Russman is the driver of the day for the feature race. So if you are watching, guys, and you watch both races, who's been your driver of the day overall? Get your votes in now. Get your votes in now while we do the classifications. So, as you can see, MDJ will be absolutely thrilled, and again, absolutely thrilled to win the British Grand Prix. And one of the Bruce, actually, keep it consistent. And still within consistency in the driver standings as well. So he'll be absolutely delighted with that. And then also, well done to ARL. Hopefully we'll get his thoughts in. Or hopefully get all the top three drivers in as quickly as possible to do the interviews itself. So we're just going to do the classifications now. So let's do the classification. So this is your race classification for the British Grand Prix. For the Invictus Racing League, the Realistic Performance League on the Crossplay Edition. MDJ is your winner in first. Bruce in second. ARL third. Russman in fourth. Ginger Tiger fifth. Nigel Gash is in sixth. Mikey seventh. Ryan in eighth. JP in ninth. Keza 10th. Kerr 11th. Spud 12th. Ruddo 13th. Joe Amster 14th. Dowell 15th. JPH, SFR and Sab, they're the only casualties during the race. If you want to find out what happened in the sprint, ARL got himself into pole position to start off with. Nojagash in second, Mikey in third, Ryan in fourth, Kez in fifth, Ruddo in sixth, Bruce is in seventh, JPH is in eighth, Kerr's in ninth, JP is in 10th, MDJ, definitely in the house, is in 11th, Spud in 12th, Dowell 13th, Joe 14th, Ginger Tiger 15th, Russman 16th, SFR 17th, and Sam was the only one who had the, I believe, again, with the DNF during that sprint race. Unbelievable stuff. Fantastic. And we'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for the interviews. Don't go anywhere. Good evening, guys. Welcome back to the Invictus Racing League, the Rears Performance League on the cross-play edition. We've just done the British Grand Prix for both the sprint and the feature race. And we've got the top 3 drivers in, and we'll be eager to find out how their thoughts was from the race itself. We're going to go straight into MDJ first, and then to Bruce, and then to ARL, which I'd like to hear from Bruce's and ARL's perspective, because those two were really dog-eat-dog moments of battling throughout the race. And just at the nick of time, Bruce got himself second, so I'm guessing there'll be a few fighting words during the interviews. But we'll do this as quickly as possible. MDJ? Hello?
Hello?
How you doing, mate? You alright?
I'm doing very good, actually.
That is a great answer there, mate. That was a great pause, like stutter, but great answer as well. So, from your perspective, I mean, when did you expect it to be blistering through in the intermediate conditions throughout the race?
Absolutely not, especially after the sprint, which it seemed like I was very slow compared to the others. But apparently in the rain, with that crash in the first corner, I gained a lot of positions, and then after the safety car very start, I just took second place and first place, and I think it's because of ARL holding up the other guys that I could drive away from everyone.
Yeah, because it looked like you had a bit of a battle between yourself and Mikey for a bit, and then it was that battle between yourself and ARL. I think it was earlier on in the race itself, but from your perspective, in a Williams car in intermediates, you must thank ARL for that, surely, during that race.
Yeah, definitely. Not only that, it's also car performance is not as effective in the rain as it is in the dry, so I must thank the rain as well.
Fair enough. Did you? Last question from you, mate. Did you feel like the heavy rain was going to get worse near the rain, or near the end of the race, or did you felt like the intermediates where everyone else was going from start to finish was madness, like with over 20 odd laps of the race?
I mean, I already saw it coming from the start of the race that everyone was going to stay on the intermediates until the end.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do it the same as well, hoping not to get a puncture on 70%. So.
Oh, so he was on 70% near the end, was there?
Yeah, it was in 74, 75 or something.
Fair enough. For MDJ, you are a winner at the British Grand Prix. Well done to you, mate. Congratulations for that.
Yes, thank you.
Bruce, how you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, thanks.
Nice one. That's a good start on the interviews itself. But from your perspective, Bruce, I want to hear from your perspective as well as ARL's in a minute. But the way that you two were battling out throughout the race itself, did you feel like you could not get past him at all, or felt like you could not get past him until like near the end of the race?
Yeah, to be honest, I was stuck behind ARL because I didn't really feel like I had much more pace than him, to be honest. There was a couple of times I managed to get a bit of a run, but just couldn't really get any sort of moves done.
Yeah.
And obviously, with it being wet, I didn't want to. The last thing I wanted to do was stake break myself and take both of us out, especially when we were sort of in second and third. And to be honest, I pretty much settled for third. I wasn't expecting to get second, and it was just coming out of the first corner, I think, in that last lap. I think Aaron just had a sort of slight wiggle, and it was enough for me to get a run to try and make a move up the inside. And obviously I didn't get past him there, but it was enough then to sort of put him out of position for the next few corners. And to be honest, even when we came out of Luffield, I still didn't think I was going to get past him, but I just sort of had enough rip out the corner of the RS to get in front. And yeah, it was, like I say, I settled for third, so it was a bit of a surprise, but not one that I'm going to complain about, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and also in the driver standings, obviously, I believe Mikey might still be ahead in the drivers, unless I'm mistaken, Mikey. In the driver standings, I think he's still ahead. But do you feel like the pressure is now starting to heat up early doors now for you two in the drivers' championship standings?
Not really. I mean, to be honest, I started doing the RP this season just as a bit of extra practice, a bit of fun. It's nice to be fighting at the front. But I think the one advantage, I know obviously MDJ's in slower cars than what I am, but that's the one advantage of doing RP as a tier 3 driver, is there's no pressure really, because if you crash you're expected to anyway, and if you do well it's just a bit of a bonus. So yeah, it's just a case really of just taking each week as it comes, and I'm not expecting to be fighting at the front come the end of the season. Just try to finish as high as I can really.
Fair enough. And you keep. I think what people don't realise is the consistency in racing. If you keep that consistency going, you will be in that top half, especially top 3, throughout the remainder of the season. And the way that you're looking at the minute is, I feel like you got that consistency going. And do you feel like you got the chance to keep it going, or do you think there'll be a few shocks coming up soon?
Yeah, I think the way I normally approach races, I never really take big risks in races. I always sort of aim to finish rather than throwing it down the inside of someone. So as long as I stay out of trouble and then don't create any trouble for myself, hopefully I can just keep sort of finishing sort of top 5, 6s, and just sort of pick up the pieces when other people have bad races really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, it's if you keep it going and you capitalise on everyone's mistakes, I won't be surprised if you're in the top 3 at the end of the season, the way it looks at the minute. But Bruce, congratulations on finishing in second place in the race at the British Grand Prix. Go and get yourself a drink. So with MTJ, get himself a drink as well after that.
Cheers, mate.
No worries. ARL, the former champion of the Invictus Racing League, the Real Sports League on the PlayStation platform. How you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, I'm doing alright. Maybe not after that final lap, but yeah, I mean, P3, I'll definitely take that podium.
I mean, I know it's a bit of a downer for you to lose out on second place to Bruce, but from your perspective, you would have said that third place after the start that you had, it was impressive with the Aston Martin. But where did you think you lost out to Bruce at near the end?
I honestly, throughout that whole race, the gap through the whole lap, then I just keep losing so much time through that final few corners, and I lose like 5/10, and that's what really, really hurt throughout the whole race. So it brings them back into striking distance. You know, final corner sorted out, and for the long term of the race as well. And so yeah, eventually it somewhat fixed it a bit, but towards that final lap, the tyres just fell off the cliff, and there was not much more I could do. I tried to keep Bruce behind, try to fight it. I did as much as I could, but unfortunately it was, you know, not much left in the car. So I'll still take P3. I'm very glad with that.
Fair enough, fair enough. We do apologise if you notice any cut-off points, and you can see on the screen there was an error from my network, so I do apologise for that. But we'll have to do this very quickly, ARL, so I might have to ask you one more question on the race. But the sprint, you did a fantastic job. On the feature race, is this going to be the old ARL that we always knew?
I hope so. I definitely hope so, because last season I felt, you know, obviously being put into tier 1 for the first time, that obviously means you're a faster driver and you get put into the slower cars, but you know, I still felt like I had very good pace, and I've been on the podium especially last season, but unfortunately just in the long term it just never could work. But I mean, now this is a big confidence booster, and you know, I've been close to getting podiums throughout this season, especially in Hungary. So I think now it's just, you know, full push, and I think hopefully we can aim for the old ARL, as you said.
Yeah, I hope so. But I won't go any longer, and I don't want to distract too much, but we are going to be shooting off now. But ARL, well done for finishing off in third. I'm so sorry I had to cut off short, but hopefully we'll get ourselves back in as quickly as possible next time when you get into the top, possibly in the win, coming up soon. How about that? Yeah? Coming up soon?
Yeah, I'll try my best, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, congrats to MDJ and Bruce.
Fair dues. Well done to the top 3. Thank you to ARL, thank you to Bruce, and also thank you to MDJ. Definitely in the house for a remix moment to get himself into first place. Well done to him, fantastic stuff. I am going to shoot off now. Thank you to Tim for joining me in the comms. Again, we do apologise for the lateness and the issues with YouTube that we have had. Hopefully it won't be like this every single week, but we will be back hopefully we'll be back sooner rather than later. Cheers for that, guys. See you all next week for round 6. Don't go anywhere, but wait for another week and we'll be back. But if you want to find out more racing, we're back live on Monday nights for tier 3, so check them out, guys. And yeah, see you all soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.